All right, all right. Good night. Hello, all, and how y'all doing out there in social media land? It's me, the one and only Prophetess Marie Denson, and we are back another week for Friday Straight Transparency. Y'all know how we do it. We keep it real, we keep it truthful, and we make sure we stay transparent. So tonight, I got some special guests. Y'all know we're talking about parenting, apologies, and parenting and pain. Where were we? Where did we used to be? And how did we come overcome some of those obstacles? How did we even overcome a past of things that our parents in their past were never taught? So in our present or future, they never taught us. Well, in our present, they can't teach us for the future. So we're gonna have a conversation, and it's gonna be a very, very great conversation that you all can join in. Y'all know how y'all can do it. Y'all can share this. Y'all can put a comment down there, a question down there for the panel, and they'll come through with the answers for you. But for right now, I'm gonna give y'all about another 30 seconds to come on in while I try to share this with the group that I have so that we can get this show started. Yes, yes, yes. We're gonna get this show started. I have some more guests coming in, y'all. So y'all go ahead and share and comment, say hey, how you doing, so that we can comment back at you. I think I got everybody in that I shared it with. Y'all can put it on y'all page. Okay, there you go. Y'all can put it on your page so that y'all can share it if y'all need be. All right, I see y'all coming in. Hey, good night. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Thanks for joining us.
Hello,
We got an
hello.
exciting show. All right, so without further ado, what I am going to do is allow the panel to introduce themselves. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a real life scenario. It's a true story, but I'm going to go from the mother then to the daughter. And I'm going to allow the panel to give you feedback on how the conversation could have turned out. So we'll start at the top with Elder.
Well, good evening, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, I am Pastor Elder Serena Holloway. I pastor alongside my husband, Bishop Christopher Holloway Sr. I'm excited about this topic on tonight, parenting and apologies. As of right now, that's just who I am. We're going to keep it real, we're going to keep it raw. Let us pray and let us grow together. Amen. Amen.
Prophetess.
Hello, my name is Nikisha Rollins.
How
I
y'all doing
almost
tonight?
I almost
You
went there.
you
I
so modest.
almost
You
went
so
there.
modest.
You that ain't how she is, True Jew. That ain't how she
That is not how she is. And she left off the first part of her name. You're going to have it on it, but you're not going to say it. But okay.
right.
I see it.
Baby steps.
Okay.
My bad.
He said everybody
Baby step.
everybody say hi to Bishop. Hey Bishop, how you doing? Thanks for
Hey,
watching.
Bishop.
Hey,
And
now.
he come for me, the first comment.
Yes, sir. At least you know her name.
Go ahead, brother Mo. Introduce yourself.
Brother Mo Adams, how y'all doing? Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Yes, yes. Peace.
You up? What happened?
Oh, he glitched.
Oh, you
I
didn't hear me?
did?
We see you now. Go ahead, back it up. We see you now.
Okay.
Okay. How y'all doing? I'm Brother Mo Adams. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Over to you, Jesse.
I am Jesse True Jew Allen, and I'm gonna do the same thing like my brother, cause he didn't glitch. He was finished. Oh my God. I'm Jesse True Jew Allen. You can find me on Facebook. I ain't got no warrants or nothing, so Jesse True Jew Allen. And that's TRUJEW. You can find me on IG, One True Jew. I'm humble. Just like my brother and my sister up here. She didn't even say prophetess. Sister. She knows some stuff. She have a eye.
All right, y'all, let's get to it. So, and audience, again, like, share, and make sure you comment if you have a question about something that we're saying. But this is a real life scenario, and I'm not saying names, but it's a real life scenario, and you we can probably discuss, and I have permission to discuss it, to discuss what could have went, which way the conversation could have went and should have probably went. And I know we all have different ways of raising our houses, so everybody's coming from a different perspective, and we honor that tonight because knowledge is power, and it's key to forward movement and upper levels. So, and that's probably the best way I can say that. So, first part of the scenario, daughter, just want to say that I'm happy for you. I decided not to come over to your party because I felt we're not in a good place, but nonetheless, I'm happy that you're happy and you deserve it. I spent many years being angry, but after being in therapy the past few months, I just want to say I'm okay. I'm not angry at you, but I'm very disappointed. I never got what I wanted, which was a relationship with you. I'm going to be honest, I have no hopes in this going well if we try it, so I just stay away. But do know I'm okay. I often feel alone in this world, but I'm okay and I'll be okay. Love you. Mother, thank you. It's okay to be angry. I apologize and tried to give you me, but as with any adult, you had plans. It wasn't for me to stand in the way, only to support and love. The fact that you say you have no hope that this will go anywhere lets me know that you're upset. I know you're good, but one thing I've learned, my mom had an issue with me, but because she is still alive, I was and am willing to have a relationship with her without reminding her of that pain. Hopefully you'll get there. Going towards family instead of me was your choice. I've always been right here in counseling, dealing with me. If we can't go further, I understand. I love you as well. When you're ready to move forward, I'm
Money.
still here. So you heard it, the portion from the daughter, and you heard the portion from the mother. So floor is open.
Do you know what's the background of the relationship?
Broken. Family interference and a whole lot of other stuff when it came to the mother raising the daughter.
And so the daughter was the one that's upset and trying to reconcile, or
Correct.
vice versa.
Nope, correct. So one question would be is, and I know I said that I left the door, I left the floor open. I want y'all to kind of respond um, off of how the mother responded to the daughter first. This is what the daughter said in the beginning about feeling lost in this world and only wanting a relationship with the mom. And the mom um, stated that, you're an adult, you had plans. When I tried to give you me, you wanted other family instead. So what do you think about the response, from the mom? And even in the end, the mom said, if I understand if we can't reconcile, but I know you good and I still love you. And if you need me, I'm here.
I love your transparency, and I'll be transparent also. My dad said that I was raised by a single father, And my dad raised several kids, single father, single father home. And he used to tell us that when my mom come over, he would say that I'm here raising y'all, and I'm telling y'all this, and I'm showing y'all this here, and as soon as y'all mama come here, y'all just like suck up to her, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? You see what I'm saying? But sometimes kids need somebody else to hear it from besides that authority figure, because it might not necessarily be their parent, but sometimes they need to hear it from somebody else, even though, because everything our parents have told us, we still hear that, and I can repeat everything verbatim that my dad has told me. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Even when
mm.
they thought we wasn't listening. So it's just the
Right.
same with us. So we sometimes we have to live and let live. We have to, you know what I'm saying, let them. We see that they, all right, I told you, don't step over that like that there, because you could fall. Sometimes we have to let them fall. And my dad always said experience is the best teacher, because you can tell them all day, but guess what? Sometimes they have to go through that. They have to put their feet in the mud. They have to put their hands in the dirt, and they be like, okay, that's how I feel.
Right.
Some people are auditorial, and they be like, okay, I heard what you said. No, some people are kinesthetic. They got to go through it. They got to feel it. They got to do it. You know what I'm saying? And some people are visual. They could just see somebody else, be like, no, I don't want to go down that route. So you know what I'm saying? And some people are all of the above. But it's just we gotta. Sometimes we gotta be a little more. What comes to my mind is Whitney Houston's song, "I Believe the Children Are the Future." If we believe the children are the future, we should teach them well and let them lead the way. Let them lead the way. All these folks in the church that is holding up space, and these young folks supposed to be in there paving the way. Don't wait till y'all pass. Don't wait till you are no longer able to hold a position. And this is, I'm talking about the black church specifically. You know what I'm saying? Because this is where, when we didn't know how to, when we was told we couldn't read, when we was told we couldn't write, this is what we went to read and write and learn how to read and write. This is what we went to, learn spirituality. This is what we went to even have shelter. That was our
Right.
last fort. That was our last support system. So we have to be that for the youth. We
Hmm.
have to, we are the sacrificial lambs. We got to go ahead and be the sacrificial lamb. For
Right.
real. We got to be that. Isaiah, what is 53, 54, somewhere around there. The
Right.
suffering servant. We got to be that.
I think anytime that a child, whether they're a child or whether they're a young adult or whether they're old in age, for me, I feel like when a child reaches out to the parent and the child or the young adult is reaching out, even in that area, and I read this and we've had this conversation, but I still believe that as you as you are older, you should be able to understand where the child is. Um, Let me just use my oldest son as an example. He's 35 years old, okay? And so he still has this thing for some unknown reason. But he used to think that way, that I was always coming against him, that I was always coming at him, that I was always trying to make him feel a certain type of way, as if that I didn't love him. Okay? Now, me not knowing and being immature, my only response to him sometimes would be, "Boy, you silly. Boy, stop. Boy, go on with that. I ain't you tripping. I don't even know why you thinking that way." But what I should have done was start asking the question, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel like I'm not giving you the time and attention that you need? What did I say? What did I do? Or what is it that I'm not doing? And so learning that, I've learned, of course, we learn with our grandchildren now. And so what we try to do is we can't do it with our children. So we now have our grandchildren. It's almost as if like we're making up for what we didn't do with our kids. And we do it with our grandkids. And so it's like the love language is a little different. And you hear the older your kids saying, "Well, dang, I didn't get that attention, or I didn't get that leniency, or what, really?" And so it makes you when you're mature and when you are able to humble yourself enough to say, I'm sorry. I didn't give you what you needed, but I gave you what I thought you wanted, right? So in that, I feel like she reached out. The response should have been, I hear you, I feel you, I'm sorry, I apologize that you're feeling that way. Let's just move forward. Let's just move in another direction. So the response that the parent made, I was like, you just now made it about you when she was trying to tell you about her.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? And so
yeah.
that's how
It's
I
selfish.
feel, because right.
Yeah,
And the parents, sometimes we're not trying to be selfish. We don't want to make it about us, you know what I mean? But when we still feel like I'm your mama and I'm trying to give you, and I tried to do this, but you were kept rejecting me, you kept pushing me away. So what else did you feel like I needed to do? So
yeah.
be done with it and move on. But now
That's
in
yeah.
this society, these kids, they want to be verbal when they're 10, 11 years old. What's wrong with you? Nothing. So you going about your business. So now you grown. Now you want to tell me what's wrong with you? Well, you had your chance to tell me what's wrong with you. Go on and get yourself together. No, I'm just playing.
Right. And you made a good point. But there's a question too. When there is an issue between parent and child, regardless of who is at fault, whose responsibility is it to initiate reconciliation first?
I'd say the
Me.
Hey,
parent.
Pastor Dr. Deb Walsh, how you doing? Welcome to the
Terrific. How
party.
are you?
Pretty good.
Good. Good. I would answer that the parent. I
The
mean,
parent.
for obvious reasons. Number one is we have to remember God gives us grace and mercy, and we need to give grace and mercy. Our kids are going to make mistakes just like we made mistakes. One of the things that I have had to change with my adult daughter, who is married and a mother of her own, is to learn to listen more. And it was already said before, but also to ask questions. Dr. Serena Holloway said, why do you feel that way? Find out, the root, right? And so ask questions, be respectful, because we know we all have made mistakes. We all have needed grace and mercy and the love, and we need to be that, especially for our adult kids, because they're dealing with more than what we dealt with even at this time and age.
Okay. Anybody
I
else want to
think
answer?
listening
Okay.
and listening too, a lot of times, especially if your defense mechanism is already up, because, as a parent, you feel like you're being blamed for certain things. And so your defense is already up. And so in listening, we have to listen to hear and not listen waiting to respond, because there's a difference. If I'm listening to hear what you say so that I can have a response, then I'm not hearing what you're saying. So I have to listen to hear what you're saying, how this affected you, what I could have done better, what I can do better, how can we set the healthy boundaries, because I believe in boundaries when it comes to any relationship. You have to have healthy boundaries. And so how do we make this relationship better? What can I do to change? What can you do to change? What can we do to communicate more effectively? And I think a lot of that is getting self out of the way and not automatically coming into the conversation ready to defend, but ready to truly listen to hear.
Ms. Alexander, how you doing?
Hey there, I'm well. My apologies for being,
Did nobody know that? They just thought I added you late.
Oh, they couldn't see that? Okay,
Nope.
okay. Oh, yeah, she took a long time, y'all, a real long time.
So I'm gonna give the next scenario, and it's gonna get kind of deep.
Okay.
So y'all jump in. Daughter. The thing is, I never went to family first. I went to my grandma. You may not get it. You may not get it, but she helped me a lot. Never turning me against you, but simply being there because she wanted to. Truth is, I did. Truth is, okay, I'll put that up in a sec. truth is, I did not choose to come to you, but for many reasons, I tried telling you over the years. My biggest thing is you never listened to me, and I watched you as you listened to the other kids and other people, and you always ran to bat for them, not for me. Just hear me out. You raised me different. Um, I feel like you didn't even raise, you just put me in a place and trained me for life. You did, in fact, make me who I am, but it wasn't in a nurturing way. It was tough. You always override what I say and you take offense to my words. The real reason I blocked you is because you were having a simple conversation about someone and you took offense and began to throw my situation in my face. And mother, okay, it's okay. You didn't know the facts of a situation we were talking about. You just felt I was wrong. You keep throwing off on me as if I was never there for you, but I was. You get to say what you need to say, but I don't. But you don't like listening to me. I heard you, and I heard you, and oh, I made a lot of mistakes, and I made those with you, and I apologize for those. And I'm in a different place, and I have forgiven everyone for the way they've treated me. I have been in counseling also, and this is why I can talk to my own mother. So again, your decision to go off, even after I said I would take care of you, is you told me no, and I'm sorry for what you went through. But again, that was a decision all of your own. So if you never speak to me again, I'm in a good place. So that was mom to daughter. So again, we're talking about apologies, parenting and pain, and we're talking about
Water.
if a parent should reconcile first, no matter what, because they're the adult, or do you think that parents should get apologies from children as well as parents apologizing for children? Again, we spoke and we said a lot of parents, because they have the authority, don't feel like they should apologize to those children, but we don't, but not so. But in this case, um, it seems to be it seems to be going back and forth where daughter wants mom to hear and mom is hearing but really not hearing. So I opened the floor.
I just want to say one thing. I think it was Zig Ziglar who said, if if you have offended somebody and you felt like you haven't offended them, but because you offended them, then you did. And I know that's a tongue twister. So I think one of the best ways to start mending and starting a conversation is, I'm sorry if you felt offended. So it doesn't mean that you are apologizing that you were in the wrong, but you're apologizing they feel that way.
Right.
And so, it's important to understand their feelings and to validate them. Okay. And then you can kind of unravel from there. I think one of the things in the mother's last statement, or the second to last sentence, was, if you don't talk to me again, I'm okay. You're basically kind of shutting the door right there a little bit, because, you kind of want to leave that door open and say, whatever your wish is, I will respect that. I don't think, I think it was a little bit harsh to say, if you don't speak to me again, I'm okay with that. I think we as parents, obviously, we need to keep that door open. We need to keep communication open in all situations. And, I think for me, that was a little bit harsh at the end.
Furthermore,
Well, I'm gonna stick with the word of truth. I'm gonna go to the book of Ephesians when it says, "Don't provoke your children to wrath." You know me.
Damn it.
Right.
And so if they have an issue or she have an issue, being the first teachers in their life, lay back, try to process where they coming from. Think about how we came up and reprocess where they coming from and take it from there.
I have to
Not
agree with
being,
yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with you, Mo. And you know, it's hard being a parent to um I had to tell my oldest daughter, you can't re-raise grown children. You can't. You know, they get older and you want to try to re-raise them in some areas, and you can't. And you know, I had to tell somebody the other day, you know, regardless, you can't provoke your children. When you provoke them, it causes them, like the word says, to be discouraged. And Pastor Deb said it. You kind of shut the door when you need that door to be open because we're the parent. You know, my oldest daughter, we had some words, and I'm transparent. Y'all know I'm gonna keep it all the way live. I had some words with my oldest daughter 2 weeks ago about a miscommunication in words concerning Thanksgiving. The thing was, you know, we're her parents and we was going to fly her in and have her to spend Thanksgiving with us. Well, when she stated she was going to go stay the night, go stay at somebody else's house, and we were like, well, if I'm paying for you to come in, then as your parent, you know, we want you to stay with us, you know. And so it was stated that I was controlling, and because we were spending the money, I was trying to make her feel like she didn't have a choice. And I said, well, dang, can it just be that we're our parents and we just want her to stay with us so that it's easier for us, you know, to go here or go there? But it was as if I was wrong. So I said to her, well, forget it. You ain't got to come. Stay where you at. If that person wants you to stay at their house, then let them fly you in. And you can go do whatever you feel you need to do. So
Well,
I was told later, I know, Mo, I know. But I was told later on that I needed to get that thing fixed and worked out. And I did. The next day, I mean, we got into it. We had some words. You know, my children are never disrespectful. You know, they won't cuss me out, you know, now, you know, do all that. But we did have some words. But in that, I thought about it. Okay, I wasn't trying to play on words. I didn't uninvite you. But I guess me saying just stay where you are. I ain't got to deal with all that drama. That's just crazy. You know what I mean? So I was right in an area. She was right in an area. We couldn't bring this thing together. I made the decision to be like, you know what, honey, stay where you are. Listen, we go on to Thanksgiving and just do whatever. But when I called her back the next day, you know, I said, listen, I'm sorry for yelling, for screaming, for making you feel some type of way. It's my bad. I just want, you've been gone since July. Here we are in Thanksgiving. I just wanted you to stay here with us so that we can spend time together in this place. But apparently it was put out there that made it seem like something else. So I'm sorry. And then,
Right.
of course, you know, I went into, you know, I'm sorry for, you know, whatever. But I apologize. I mean, I said something. And then, you know, y'all know me. It turned to me being petty.
We know.
But
We
she
know.
got it.
We know.
So,
And
it
you
happens
know,
to the
yeah.
best of us.
so what about when the apologies? Now we're talking about apologies from the parent. What about? I'm gonna throw this over Jandra way. What about when the parent has apologized, but now the child is holding the parent hostage to that? That was a good question that I got. So I'm gonna throw it out there for y'all.
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
So
Yeah.
parents, they can apologize to their children.
Yes.
Shouldn't be a problem why if you've wronged them you can't apologize to them, but when you do and the child has told you how they felt about certain things, but you know how you had to raise them, you know what you had to do to get what you needed for them, what happens when that child continues to hold you hostage?
Well, the thing about that is really, if you have apologized, you're free. you have made things clear with the child. You not have only made things clear with the child, but you've also made things clear with God. So the child can't hold you hostage to your past. So what you have to do is pray for that child to be free, because basically that he or she, they're holding themselves hostage. And once they are free, then they'll come around. But in the meantime, you cannot allow, if you apologize, you can't hold that on me anymore. It's done. I can't even think back to those things anymore. Yes, I did wrong, and I apologize. Have repented from those things. And that's what a lot of people deal with that. They haven't truly repented of what they've done to their children. Mothers and fathers alike. There's no grandparents who had to raise kids, because a lot of us had to do things out of situations that we were just thrown into. So we do owe some apologies, but at the end of the day, they did their best. They apologized. They did what they had to do, and it's a hard pill to swallow. But you're free. I feel like if I've done anything, I know I've done my apologizing. I know I'm free. So, but my prayer is for, even with my kids, my daughters, that they become free from whatever. And it may take a while. That's like some that's some spiritual cleansing that they will have to do. And they don't understand that. Everybody don't understand that. So, and then we can't expect the child to understand it. So we can't, I know a lot of times, as those of us who are mature, we get free and we want to just say, oh, you need this, you need that. No, some things they're going to have to free themselves. It's things that we're not going to be able to help. So I feel that they can't, I'm not being held hostage to anything.
Amen.
So
Go ahead.
if I might interject, who the Creator sets free is free indeed. So there is no chains, no bondage, not even generational curses. Me, I'm a GCB, I'm a generational curse breaker, but there's no chains, no bondage, no entrapment, no imprisonment that can enslave nobody or make nobody not free. So I'm a parent advocate also, because I'm a single parent. I was a single father also, because I learned from my dad, and I was in the position to do that, and I did that as a man did. I seen my dad do my daughter's hair, and I ended up doing my daughter. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, point blank. So here you go, and you know my daughter. She done seen me and my daughter together.
Yes.
She know firsthand. But I'm a parent's advocate. No parent has to apologize to no child for nothing. What do that mean if all right, now if a parent intentionally do something, all right, oh, I just knocked you down, oh, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? But what a parent that is really and truly unintentionally doing something, I might snatch you by your collar because you was about to run out there in that road. What I'm supposed to say? Oh, I'm sorry, I snatched you by your collar. Oh, Mom, you snatched me by my collar. Oh, Dad, you snatched me by my collar. You grabbed me by my arm. That hurted. No, if I got to snatch you up, I'm going to snatch you up, because as a parent, that's what I'm going to do. Mama bear and daddy bear, that's what we're supposed to do. Lion and lioness, that's what we're supposed to do. And so to apologize to a child like, oh, I intentionally did something wrong, that is, X that out.
Okay, interesting.
Some of it might hurt what I tell you, but I'm not telling you for no reason. That tough love right now, and that's what's leaving, and that's what's way outside of the box. We want to make if we want to upgrade them and say that they are young adults, and that we should treat them this way and apologize to them. If you do something wrong intentionally, or you do something wrong unintentionally, that you realize you came to the awareness that yes, this was wrong. You understood and then came to understanding, like, oh yes, you know what I'm saying? And who was saying that the conscience, the spirit, the mind will let you know if you did something wrong or not. So there's no need to sit there and just be like, okay, yes, I apologize for everything. Oh yeah, remember when I did? Remember when you was 12? Remember when you was? No, this is real life. Ain't nobody babysitting nobody like that, though. And y'all think y'all grown at 5 years old anyway, so ain't nobody, no, ain't nobody doing that.
Mhm.
And y'all
Well,
talking worse
that's
than us.
interesting.
And y'all talking worse than us.
It's interesting you say that. So let me understand, just for our viewers, are you speaking not apologizing as like never? Like I'm the
I
mama,
wouldn't,
I'm
I
the
wouldn't,
daddy,
I
I'm
wouldn't.
not
Yeah, but
apologizing to
yeah.
you? Or are
I'm
you
saying
speaking in
apology.
terms,
I'm
or
saying apologize if you have done something that you have realized is wrong, or intentionally done something that is wrong. But if you got to do some tough love, no, I'm not gonna apologize. I'm gonna stand on that duh. And to say
okay,
stand on that duh. Stand on the word of God. What I'm gonna apologize for saying right is right and wrong is wrong. What I'm gonna apologize for saying true is true and false is false, real is real and fake is fake. If I apologize for that, duh, that's what everything is how it is right now. Because
I
we ain't picking a side. We ain't choosing a side.
I
It ain't no
think.
in
Well,
between.
okay,
well, if I
Mm,
leave my gift at the altar and apologize to my child, knowing that the book of truth tell them to honor me and their mama so their days will be long on this side, I'm gonna take that in, leave that gift at the altar if I felt like I wronged them.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now if I felt I wronged them, I won't take advantage of me being the parent.
all right.
I'm gonna humble
Yeah,
myself. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
humble
humble
myself all
myself.
the way. That's why I said intentionally or knowingly. You see what I'm saying? And then afterwards, you know what I'm saying? You might realize or you be aware of afterwards. You see what I'm saying? That's when you should do that. But just to sit there and be like, oh, my bad. I grabbed you out of the way of danger. I was telling you, no, don't hang with these people, or don't go left, go straight, don't go right, go this way.
I just think
I
that's where
don't think we're
communication.
apologizing for any of that, though, right?
Right, and that's why it's just it's that's where communication comes in. That you got to be clear in how you're communicating. If I'm example, I was getting on to Jacob, and they were trying to get them to clean their room, and I had well, let me not use that one. So let me just say that sometimes you can make a mistake and doing something, and one of the children get hurt, and so you have to say, okay. I didn't mean to hit you, but if you have not been in my way, then you have not gotten hit.
You was in the
So,
way of traffic.
but it's still about communication. If I made a mistake, and brother Mo, he said it. It's the thing. It's your children. Everybody, we all belong to God, and it doesn't matter if we birth them, they're still God's children. If we're at the altar, hear me out. If we're at the altar and
Well,
it drops in our spirit that we have an ought with our child, okay? There's no way we can take and use that gift for another child that may have that same similar issue that we just had with our own child. That's why the scripture says when you think about it, when you are at that altar and you are praying, it says leave your gift there. Go make it right with whomever. And when you have got it together, you come back and you pick up your gift and you continue on to do ministry. Because what happens, and I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you with my own kids, when I first, and I'm gonna make this real short, when I first apologized to my girls, they were in their teenage years. They were watching me encourage other women, other young girls. I wasn't yelling at them. I wasn't screaming at them. But my girls, especially my oldest, came and said, I don't understand how they can come to you. She said, I hear you on the phone encouraging them and you're telling them this and you're telling them that, but when we come to you, you telling us is what you say, and you're yelling and you're screaming and you're making us feel like that what we say is not even important. At that moment, the Lord, and I kid you not, convicted me because she was right. There is no way that I can go and encourage other women that's doing far more worse. And here I got my own children, and the Lord had to let me know ministry starts at home. If you can't lead and teach your children, you can't go and lead and teach somebody else's child. That thing's gonna come back. That's an alt. She didn't realize that was an alt that she had with me. So she brought it to me. So what I had to do, I had to fix it. And that's why I said it's about communication. You got to be able to be. I'm going to say this, Pastor Deb, and there's no disrespect, but I'm going to say this. And I don't care what anybody say. There is a difference in parenting from the white people and the black people. Okay? So, and a point of time in my life, I had to pick up that timeout spirit. Because if I didn't sit them in timeout, I'm going to snatch them by their whole throat. So you need to go take a moment because I'm about to catch a charge. I'm about to go to jail. So I had to implement some of those things because we as parents, and let's be real, we are hard. We are rough. And we do make fun of the white parents that's in the mall. No, Johnny, don't you do that. Come here. I'm going to spank your little behind. Boy, if you don't get over here, I don't care who's in this store. I'm about to wear you out. That's what we do. That's how we raise our children. But we had to learn as we got older and more mature. We had to say, okay, let me just calm down. Let me just take a moment and do things properly. And you get so much more when the communication. Now, if I'm apologizing, listen, I don't mean to spank your behind, but I wore you out because this is what you have done.
It's true.
You see what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying, Truju. I do. I get you. I got you. But it's all about in the communication. You gotta learn how to you gotta learn how to conversate with your kids, and when they bring something to you, don't just smack them and tell them, "I'm your mama. Do what I say." Period. I don't care what you're talking about. Go on over there. You see what I'm saying?
And I understand the part about being friends and stuff like that, but sometimes in certain areas, because I pay all the bills. We ain't friends, okay? We're not friends. Is you gonna split this bill with me this month? We're not friends. I'm the mama. You're the child. I understand that, but I also understand that in order for our children to grow up in the abundance of life with what we can give them now, because we understand that, especially in my generation, that my parents only taught us what they were taught, which might have been limited. So I had to still learn a whole lot in my own generation. And the thing about that is that I got so tongue tied just then. The thing about us when it comes to our children today is that we don't want them to miss opportunities for correction, opportunities for change, opportunities to, do it a little bit better, because we know where we come from. So, I understand apologies when it comes to being, because sometimes we got to be, it's just like peer pressure. Peer pressure is not just for the teens or the students. It's for adult students. I've seen adults get peer pressure. I don't know why, but they do. And I ain't judging, but some of us get caught up. And then I've seen adults being bullied right now. They're not just social bullying, all types of bullying, so it's not just the kids, it's for the parents too. And my thing is, just like a lot of kids are having kids right now, because parents aren't just teaching, they're not placing value into that teaching. There is a lot of miscommunication in messages from a mother to a daughter or a son to a father. There's mixed messages, and not intentionally. It's just you only could teach from where you've learned. Parents are the true teachers of children. We're the first teachers. We the first watchmen and the gatekeepers. But somehow all that went out the door. All that value went out the door. So now we have conversations like this where single parents had to bring up children, and sometimes they had to leave their older children in charge while they worked so that they could pay bills. And the oldest child feel neglected and like she was never a part of the family, or like he was never a part of the family. So you have conversations like this where mom is saying, well, God dog. Well, I mean, I was going to school and I was going to work and I was trying to raise y'all. What you think I was supposed to do? And how can a parent communicate that better to a child who feels that way? I'll throw that question out there. How can a parent communicate better? I'm not going to say that a parent should lose their authority. Come on now. You don't lose your authority trying to apologize too much to your children or trying to make things too right. But that's the question.
They still won't understand.
Go ahead,
Well,
Pastor.
go ahead, my brother.
I thought Pastor Walsh.
Yes.
Sorry.
You know, I want to say that just because we're parents doesn't mean that we really know it all, right? I was raised and when in an abusive household. The only discipline I knew was you pick up a 2x4 and beat that person unconscious until they're on the floor and they lose bodily fluids. And then you pull them by the hair to use their body to wipe up their bodily fluids. So I grew up in that environment. And when I was pregnant, I was scared to death because I said to the Lord, I don't know how to be a parent and I need your help. So what I did was I became a student. Dr. James Dobson, Dare to Discipline, is an awesome, awesome guide. I highly recommend it. It helped me tremendously. You know, just going to the Lord in prayer, studying his word. But also, you know, I think that trying to mimic our Father is probably one of the only things that I could draw on. And, you know, the Lord says, with loving kindness, I drew you. So, you know, I try to be that way, even in some situations where I knew my anger might be speaking too loudly for me. I would tell my daughter, you need to give me about 2 minutes, go into your room. And that scared her more than me yelling at her. Because I would say, I need to calm down. You need to go in your room for 2 minutes while I think this through. And, you know, sometimes we as parents, it's often what we don't say. And it's sometimes even just our reactions that speak louder than our words. So, you know,
Yeah.
I say all that to say that we're not going to have all the answers, but I really drew upon the church. I literally went to my pastor and I said, I'm a single parent. She really doesn't have a father figure in her life. And can you help me? And he set up on his own accord sessions where him and Marie, you know, under supervision, not alone, would spend time together, talking or playing a game or what have you. And so sometimes we need to kind of understand when we need to step up, when we need to say something, and sometimes we need to understand when we don't. And it's okay if you don't have the answer, whether it be right there or whatnot. But, you know, to come back and say, can I get back to you on that or what have you? So, you know, again, we can't always draw on our experience as a child is really what I'm trying to get at, you know, because I really didn't have that experience. And knowing that, I knew I didn't know how to raise a child. I would never raise a child the way I was raised. So, you know, it's, but God will give you the grace to get through it. He will give you the wisdom and knowledge, James 5:1. You know, he will give it to you. And you need to ask him. And, you know, I mean, we're not perfect. We all fall short, you know, and, but I think it's important for us, especially as adults, and, you know, to understand when we need to seek help, seek guidance, or just not even answer, can I get back to you? Or, you know, whatever the age is, whatever is appropriate response. So that's my thought.
That's true.
So I'm gonna do this last scenario, and then y'all can take it out from there. Listen to the daughter. You're still missing the point. It's not a blame game. It's simply you and me. You are my mother, and I am your child. This isn't about anybody else or what you went through with them. It's about what I endured as the result of things you went through. Now we're talking about parenting in pain. It's about what I endure as a result of things you went through. I never discredited what you went through, and you actually verified what I said about my dad was in fact true. You repeated me. You still don't see that. Yes, I made my own decisions, and I took my hits and came out on top. But you are missing. What you are missing is who you were to me until you understand that. You won't ever understand why I would never trust you to take care of my child and why I choose to leave with my child. Like I said, when I talk to you, don't hear me as your child. You always go on when it comes to me, and you don't see that. But yeah, until you get where I'm coming from, fine. I'll stay out your life. Your response is exactly what I had. No hope for this. You take everything I say wrong, say the wrong way. And then this is mom. You know, therapy has taught me a lot as well. So my step one is to say that I'm sorry today if you felt I was not listening. When I had you, oh, you were the closest kind of love, and I cherish you all. My problems and issues should never have became yours. But when you started growing up and grandma started coming around, I got upset with her for showing you a love she never showed me. I was angry and never did. I imagined that our relationship would be tarnished. I've tried so hard to right my wrongs, but I felt you would never allow me. Then the relationship between you and my mom created coldness in me because I felt you picked her when she didn't even pick me. So forgive me for not hearing you today. I will give this some time, but I want you in my life. I was sick and learning of what you had to endure on your own, but I also prepared you for it. You need love just like the rest, and I should not have disregarded you. And for that, my heart sincerely apologizes. And then daughter said, thank you, because I've said it for years. It was deeper than me, but I felt that coldness and it pushed me away many times. And I did want to let you in, and I tried by talking, but it just didn't work. I felt I needed to protect myself against you. So I put really high guards up, and I always said, why do I have to be like this towards my mom? I forced myself to be this way, a defense mechanism, basically. But I'm tired. My child always asks for you and always comes to and asks to come to your house, and she deserves that. Believe me when I say I didn't choose other family. I chose you, but for some strange reason that didn't work. So that was from daughter to mother back to daughter. And basically the daughter was pretty much saying that she needed to hear the heartfelt sorry from mom so that she can move on because of what mom endured. Now she's going through it, causing her to parent in pain. So I'll throw that out there.
I can definitely relate to the daughter. I grew up in a home where I watched my mom be abused, and my dad verbally abused me. And I remember being really, really, really angry at my mom. You know, being molested as a child, I felt like she wasn't there to protect me, and she wasn't who I needed her to be. So I had no trust for my mom. And then as I got older, the anger became rage, and like it was to a point where I couldn't even stand to be around her. And when I got back, you know, in my relationship with God, he began to show me her story. She was a victim, so she couldn't give me what she didn't have. And so I ended up having to be the one to go and apologize to her and ask her to forgive me for the expectation that I had of her that she wasn't able to fulfill because she never had it herself. And so I think a lot of times
Wow.
we put expectations on people. And for example, with my dad, I had a distaste for men because in my life, men either abandoned me or, rejected or abused. And so that was my view of men. And so once I started the healing process, I had to learn how to disassociate the pain from the male gender as a whole. And we can't hold other people accountable for what others have put on us or have done to us. And in the forgiveness process, we have to learn how to disassociate that in order to be able to forgive. And it's like you're kind of outside of yourself, looking at yourself. And so, I apologize to my mom because she was a victim. She grew up watching her mom be abused. And then her and her mom didn't have a relationship. So she didn't know how to give me that mother-daughter relationship because she never had it herself. And so it's just like Colossians 3:13, we have to make allowances one for another because we never know people's story. And I think that's the issue, especially in the Black community. We don't talk. We don't go to therapy. We don't communicate. And without that communication, you miss out on a lot. Like if you understood the person's history and where they came from, then I think it makes you have more, like I say, you have more allowance for that person. You're more empathetic to that person and their situation. And you're not so quick to judge or be upset because you begin to understand, okay, now I understand why, they may respond the way that they do. Now I understand why they may get upset because of this, because I understand where they come from. And so taking that time out and see, once the mother and the daughter actually took time out to listen to each other and try to understand where the other one was coming from, they were able to make a little bit of progress. And the more that they continue to communicate like that, okay, I understand what you mean when you said this. Or when you said this, I felt this way. That's why I responded that way. But the communication is there. And so I believe that relationship can heal as long as they continue to communicate like they did in that last message.
Kendra, want to jump in there?
Out of all things, get us some understanding.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think like the problem is because a lot of those types of problems start as young children. So a lot of the abuse or the neglect that you feel, it starts young. So it's hard for a young person to articulate that they're feeling left out, or like let's say you're a mother that always have men coming around, a single parent that has men or women around. It's hard for that child to say it, so that child builds up those walls on the, year by year, things are just happening, things are going unsaid. So I totally agree with my question would be, I guess, how do you start that conversation, or how does a parent become knowledgeable of the hurt that a child is feeling and not wait until they are in their 20s? Because basically that's kind of like when things really start, the child feels a little more freer to tell the parent how they feel. Like once they hit those 20s, it's like, okay, this is what you've been doing. This is how I felt all along. I can't stand you, So how do you get them from, how do we end it, sooner than later?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, we stop giving those excuses of, we have to stop making those excuses. I can give all types of excuses of who I was, what I did, why I did it. It was because I needed to raise you all. But those days are over with. I did what I did. But I don't need to bring that same excuse every single time I talk to my child, because right off the bat, I'm defending myself. I haven't given any way for healing within myself, because I'm still defending myself. against that. If my child asks for a simple explanation, I can give a simple explanation. I can give all of them a simple explanation, but I don't need to explain my past to them over and over. I'm your mama. You don't talk to me. You don't ask me nothing. I did this for you. You know, your parents wasn't around. You know, they ain't did nothing. You know, we could talk that all day long, and we can continue to say that. But until we start that particular conversation with, listen, throughout my life, I made some mistakes, and I know y'all paid for them. It's and a parent to know which child they can talk to right off the bat, which one's more mature and can handle that. Because all your children, you ain't gonna go at all of them and have a conversation, because some of them just gonna be confused. They're gonna be like, "What you talking about, mama?" But that's how you start the conversation. And it has to be, it's an open line of communication. And I don't know who said the line of communication was supposed to start when they turned teenagers. I don't know who said that, but whoever said that need to go back to the principal's office in heaven, because that was wrong. The line of communication should be open when they can start telling you that they pee on themselves. So
For me,
that's how it's going to start.
I didn't have a relationship with my mother, like, at all. We didn't have a relationship. So I basically didn't have anybody to talk to. So when I had my first son, I was 16. So what I did was I literally stated that I was going to build relationship with my son. Okay? So it started with him. At 2 years old, I started having conversations with him. We would sit down. I would take him to lunch. I'd pick him up from school. Wherever we were going, I would have conversation. It didn't even really matter what the conversation was about. When I had Ashley, she was brought into the conversation. When I had DeAndre, he was brought into the conversation. I had table talk with my kids. People don't agree with me when I started talking to my oldest son about sex when he was 2 years old. I started talking to him about knowing the difference between right and wrong when it came to sexuality, when it came to knowing the difference of somebody giving you a hug, and knowing how to discern the feeling of how you're supposed to feel. I did that. Why? Because I was molested. I was raped at 13 years old. So I wanted to set the path for my children. I built the relationship so that, and I told all my kids, if I hear anything from the street and I don't hear it from you first, we're going to have some problems, because the street's not going to give you what you need. If I know what's happening and I know what's going on, I'm able to help you in this situation. And I would tell them, don't disrespect an adult. You tell that adult to come and see your mama, and we gonna have some conversation, and I will get it fixed. And then I will tell the adult, if I'm teaching my children to say yes ma'am and no ma'am, and I'm teaching them to respect you, then I need you not to disrespect them. And I need you to talk to them. Don't call them out of their name. Don't disrespect them at all. Because if I'm teaching them the right way, if I'm teaching them how they need to go, then when something pops off, they're going to have to learn how to handle it. So as my kids got older, but here's the key, here's the kicker. But then if you don't teach them the flip side of it, because honestly, I'm a parent, and it hurt them more in the end, because now I built that relationship between us. I didn't teach them how now to relate, to be sociable with anybody else. So then when they started dating, they never talked to their, them. They bring it to me. My son's 17 years old, talking about, listen, mama, I need you to check this little area out right here, because something's going on. It wasn't nothing wrong, but he growing. That's how close me and my children were. We was able to talk about sex. We were able to talk about issues, some of the whatever. But to your question, Jandra, and I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't, Jandra. You have to start like you said, as soon as they're able to understand. That's when you start. You build the relationship, and I counsel women, and I tell them, build the relationship with your girls. Build it, because they're gonna go through some stuff. And they got you. Listen, no, I'm not saying you beat up. You know how to differentiate. You got to set some boundaries. You let them know. Right now, I'm your mom, but when they grow and you build a relationship, you'll become their best friend. You'll become their go-to. You'll be able to understand. I'm 52 years old. I didn't get it right in the beginning, but when I became mature in the Lord and in the Word of God, I was able to say, okay, God, in every mistake, allow me to feel conviction if it's wrong and I'm not doing it the way that I'm supposed to be doing it. But everybody is not like that. So what do? We got to learn. And that's why I've been sharing this post, and I said, let's learn together. Let's grow together. Let's pray together. Let's do this thing together. Now let's find some solutions.
Right.
And I work with a lot of young parents. So that's a question that's posed because it's so easy for us who have 20-year-olds, teenagers. It's so easy for us to talk about what we are doing now. It's also easy for us to talk about what the things we did, but we're in the now, right now. We have 18-year-olds that are, trying to raise kids. So I think someone put a question on that. How do you make it a safe place for the parent and child? That is really important for the parent and the child, because you want the child to be able to express his or herself freely, and but in a place where it's where they can be pretty open about how they're feeling, what's going on, and then you want it to be a safe place also for the parent to be able to talk to the child without. It's still that thin line between talking to them as a friend and then talking to them as a parent, because you can still, especially with a teenager, you can turn them off so quick. I don't care. You can say, "Hey, baby, I love you," and the teenager look at you like, "I don't, where is this coming from? I don't got time." So you still, it's such a thin line, but you want to be, you want to be raw. You want to be straightforward. As Prophetess was saying, you want to be, and I love that. My girls can't. I always say they can't stand me. That's the kind of relationship we have, because they know that whatever is on my mind, that's what I'm going to say. And one of the things I always tell them, whatever you do is always going to come back to me.
Right.
I do not care. It has not failed yet. Not yet. My oldest is 21. It has yet to have failed. So just bringing that so we can let a young parent know, these parents that are raising younger kids, to create that space to be open. Let's end this taboo. Let's stop saying that, oh, we can't talk about this, or we can't, talk about that, because the more we hold off, the worse the situation will get. And that's not always with sex. It can be with drugs. We have kids now that are using drugs younger than, kind of like from what I can remember growing up. So it's like they have so many things that they're dealing with that we have to start those conversations at 2. I mean, that's the world we're living in. So
I think part of creating that safe space too is also to not, if they trust you enough to come to you to talk to you about the things, don't be judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
It may not always be what we want to hear, but if you have a lot of kids that don't talk to their parents, and one thing I've always taught my daughter from the time she was little on up, you can always express yourself, but do it respectfully. There's a way to express yourself and still be respectful.
Right.
Especially when you're talking to, your peers and adults. No matter the age, you still speak with respect. And so if she trusts me enough to come talk to me about something, my first response can't be a judgmental response. I first have to thank her for even trusting and, having enough confidence to trust in me to even have the conversation with me. Because a lot, especially teenagers or even young kids, they don't know how. I grew up I wrote in a journal because I couldn't talk to my parents. I didn't know how to talk to them, and they didn't have that open space for me to come talk to them. And you definitely didn't question your parents when I was growing up. And so I wasn't able to have those conversations that I needed to have. I learned from my friends at school or learned from being in the streets. And so that's not something that I wanted her to have to get her knowledge and understanding from. I wanted her to be able to come and talk to me about anything. And so that's the kind of relationship that we have, to where she's free to come talk to me about anything and know that, for one, it stays here, because I couldn't tell my mama anything growing up because the whole family would know. So it's like I have that confidence that what I tell you, you're not going to judge me. You correct me and you'll let me know, the downside of it, but you're not going to judge me, and it's going to stay right here. You can be confidential. And so I think that's part of creating that safe space as well.
Yeah.
For me, creating the safe space was, I always told my daughter, if you tell me the truth, you're not going to get punished for telling the truth. You're going to get punished if you lie to me and I find out. What I would do if she would come to me and tell me the truth, then we could discuss, okay, what do you think the consequences should be? When she was 2 and 3 years old, and if she disobeyed me and I found out, I would say, what do you think the consequences should be? And I said, well, I think you need to give me your dresses out of your closet. Now, my daughter was someone who would never wear pants. The pants, she told me, hurt her legs. So, she was always a dressy, frilly girl. So she would go to her closet and pull out a couple play dresses that were like everyday dingy dresses. And I would say, oh no, the fluffy, frilly, ribbon, dresses are the ones that you need to get. And you would have thought that I was spanking her like there was no tomorrow. So, what I'm saying is, if she told me the truth, then we can come to, an understanding of what the consequences should be, but that she wasn't going to get punished. I was not going to treat her harshly for telling me the truth. It's only if she lied to me and I found out, then there was going to be some, other issues. So for me, I think honesty is giving them the ability to tell you the truth, no matter how hard they think it might be, that, they can come to you. And just like you said, confidentiality as well. I agree.
And be approachable. Be very approachable. There shouldn't be no reason why your child should be scared to approach you. If your child's scared to approach you, you don't put too much fear in them, and they're not gonna confide in you. Somebody else gonna know all the business, and you're gonna wonder why they ain't never came and told you. So be approachable. Don't always. I know we work and we be tired. We'll go lay on the couch and have our hand and our feet up, and our child don't even want to bother us. Don't even want to ask us a very important question, because as soon as they ask us that question, don't you see me resting? Gone somewhere, So they don't. Who on here can raise their hand and say they ain't never done that?
Oh, I did. I always wanted my kids to be around, but now that's why I'm suffering now.
You ain't about to shame us. You ain't about to shame us.
I'm serious. It was just me and my kids. I'm so serious. I don't even think that I even was. I mean, if somebody would just call them out of their name, they got them hands. Like, you just not gonna just do my kids that way. I never cuss my kids. I've never called them out of their names. I gave them so much time and attention, and I guess because I didn't get it, that's why I said it hurt in the long run, because you have to understand, I had my first son at 16, so I didn't have parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles or a godparent, to drop my kids off, right? So it was always me and the kids. So now they older, they moved all the way to Houston. They don't even want to be around me anymore. So I'm just like, what dang?
Okay, you don't fit in this pot. But none of us
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Raise our hand because we don't done that. We did that. Boy, you don't know you see, didn't I just walk in? Right. So we've all done that. So that's a war zone for a child instead of a safe zone. They don't feel safe in that area no more with approaching you. So if you got a child that always got to think about if they gonna say something to you, if you got a child that always got to think about if they want to ask you this question or not because they fear you're gonna blow up on them, then you're gonna have to do something to tweak that, because your child shouldn't be scared to come and tell you somebody touching them. Your child shouldn't be scared to tell you that somebody is cursing them out. Your child shouldn't be scared to come and tell you they're being bullied or somebody trying to make them do drugs or carry something that they're not supposed to. They know they're not supposed to carry. When your child say, "I would have told you, but you would have just told me to get out your face," then you'll get mad. Well, you know, then you want to get more mad, but you know they telling the truth. More mad.
Communication, trust with respect.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will
Yeah.
make you very approachable.
That's
Yep.
right.
And yeah, and not yelling and screaming.
Right.
Just yelling and screaming like, well, what you mean you went to go do that? You can't do that. You can't do that. When they tell you something, you gotta give them this face. And then walk away and go.
Instead of saying,
Then we have to learn that we don't have to respond immediately. You know, we don't have the answers right then and there. So, you know, when they do, okay, give me a moment. Let me ponder on this. Let me think about it, because a lot of times, if it's something bad, you can act out in anger. If it's something sad, you can act out in anger still. You know, so always, you know, give ourselves a moment to think about what we just heard, and not give. And even if it's something that we've done before, it's still not our place to just respond so quickly. Give it a moment. Give it a moment, because, you know, a lot of times when we act too quick, we say the wrong things. And then, you know, I've been there.
you got to apologize.
And they will
Right.
withdraw really quick. They'll withdraw. So,
Yep.
Yep. And that makes the child not want to approach you anymore.
Not just the
Yeah.
child, not just the child, but the young adults and the grown kids.
I was
You
going to
know,
say that.
it's yeah, you know, it's just leave me alone, Prophetess Marie. This is a very sensitive topic. I've been trying to just sit on my hands and bite my tongue and just hush, but it's hard. I can't.
And you know you can't, so I don't know what you was trying for. Did she just say that, EP? Come on, she just been trying, because you ain't trying to do
I
nothing.
have tried. I was like, I'm in my mind, I'm saying, don't say nothing, Sister Holloway. Don't talk. Don't say a word. Just hush. Just hush. Just hush. Just don't say nothing. It didn't work.
It's okay. It's okay. Last question for the night, so that we can wrap it up. Young lady asks, what advice would you have for a new parent, and as far as parenting, and that way she doesn't have to parent. Never mind. That way she doesn't have to parent in pain from what she knows. That's the question.
Pray a lot.
Elaborate. Young parent, very young parent. She knows she could pray, but she's a young parent too. What's going to keep her motivated to pray?
Ooh.
I'm just saying. We talking about a young. She asking a real good question.
You know, we was raised in the pure. We was forced to go, so you know we know the law, statutes, and commandments. You know that's second nature to us. But for a person that wasn't raised like that, you got to be retaught, and we done went to that retaught stage before. But yeah, do a lot of praying.
and
God
don't
is faithful,
sorry. Go ahead.
and the Holy Spirit is real.
Yeah, if you could find somebody that is that has great wisdom, don't be afraid to ask for help. Always, because you're a young parent, if you get frustrated, please reach out for help. If you need a break, ask, reach out, pray. I'm like bro, Mohair, you got to pray. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't have no kids today. These kids coming out already telling me what to do. I'm just saying.
So,
I can't.
elder, since you got on your elder hat tonight, we hear you. I'm not gonna play devil's advocate, but I'm gonna ask the questions that
Okay.
they would ask.
Okay.
I don't know how to pray because God ain't never been introduced to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen.
Look at the
I,
panel. See everybody on this panel? I'm
yeah.
sure all of y'all are approachable.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I wasn't raised.
Approach.
Yeah, I wasn't raised in church. I wasn't raised with the Lord. I wasn't raised praying. I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know about the word of God. So I can definitely be able to tell you, again, you gotta seek wisdom. You gotta, I didn't have it. So I'm telling you to get it. I raised, listen, I didn't know anything about formula. And I know that sounds silly, but I need you to hear me. If you don't ask, if you don't reach out for help, it was nobody but the Lord God that I have to honestly say that has kept my children and for me killing them. I kid you not. I didn't know anything about formula. I was feeding my son at 6 months old, feeding him vitamin D milk. Didn't water it down. They was like, "What?" So I'm saying,
And mine was eating grits at 3 months. So
right. You got to. You're a young parent. Don't be afraid to say you need help. Don't be
yes,
afraid to reach out.
that's right.
Don't be afraid to. I raised my kids by watching TV. I raised them by reading magazines. I raised them by looking at other parents. I raised them. I'm telling you, I did not have no one in my life that could tell me if I was doing it right or if I was doing it wrong. I went off of what I knew. It hurt them in some areas, but it also helped them in some areas. If you're a young parent and you need some advice, the only advice I can give you, you got to reach out when you need help. You cannot do it alone.
Anybody
You
else want to?
cannot do it alone. You can't.
See,
Call
cause
me.
Anybody else?
Honey, inbox me. I got you. Inbox me. I will pray
Okay,
with you and give you strength.
we're gonna let you do that in just a second. Get that information out in just a second. Go ahead, Jandra.
And be afraid to take parenting classes. Okay, do not be afraid. Parenting classes are for everybody. Okay, do not be afraid. There's so many things you can learn. You may not agree with everything that you learn in these classes. You can take them. You can take what you learn. You can make it fit for your family. So don't be afraid to take any parenting classes. There are so many social workers and different organizations that offer parenting classes for people who may not be able to afford it. You may be able to afford a good Christian parenting class, but if you're one person that can't, there are so many organizations that you could reach out to for those parenting classes. And parenting classes aren't because you are a bad parent. The parenting class is to help you to learn more about yourself and more about how you can
That's
break
good.
whatever cycles that are going on, that have gone on in your family or that may be going on now. So don't be afraid to take any parenting classes.
That's a good point. Anybody else want to answer that question?
I'd like to add, don't be afraid to love. Love conquers all. And, you're never wrong when you're acting or speaking out of love. The second thing I would highly recommend for anyone is dare to discipline.
Amen.
Dare to discipline taught me what discipline was because I didn't know discipline. And it taught me to start at a young age, because if you don't start at a young age, it's going to be harder to start disciplining when they get older. And also, children look for those boundaries. they feel your love through true discipline, because they know you're doing it to keep them safe, to keep them, to be the best that they can be. So love and discipline, they're kind of synonymous. And that might be hard to understand right now, but again, the Dr. James Dobson Dare to Discipline was one of the best guides and tools I went to when my daughter was an infant, when I was a brand new mother. And it truly was, I feel, a gift for me to learn that discipline truly meant love and real discipline.
And don't be afraid to get counseling. I know after I had my daughter, I dealt with postpartum depression, and I used drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism. So, it's something that happens to a great number of women after they have their babies. So don't be afraid to get counseling, or, let it make you feel abnormal, because your emotions are tied into all of that when it comes to giving birth to a child. So if anything feels off, always seek counseling.
All right. Do we have any last comments? All right. Well, I thank all the panel and the guests for being on another segment of Friday Straight Transparency. This has truly been a moment, an epic moment with, the different perspectives on parenting apologies and also parenting in pain. I would admonish you to make sure that you find someone that you can trust to be a part of your life and to assist with growth in areas you need help in. The more we know, the more we grow. And the more we grow is because the more we know. So we need to keep our line of communications open. We need to stay approachable. And we need to make sure our kids understand what our past was like, so that our children would never have to grow up stating that we weren't fair in sharing a part of us with them, so that they can take care. It's sort of like it's sort of like when you say you go to the hospital, right? And I know I say hospital real funny, but when you go to the hospital and they give you a sheet of paper and they ask you all this history, right? And they start to saying, what's your mother's history? What's your father's history? And you're like, man, I don't know. They ain't sat down and told me that. So I don't know. And the doctor can only go off what you tell them, but there's a deeper issue. Right. And they needed to know what was hereditary in your family, so that they can perhaps do the correct testing to point it out in you. And that's why a lot of us are late with diagnosis, because a lot of times our parents didn't have that conversation about sickness and health with us. So I say that because you don't want your child to grow up and have to parent in pain, in a pain that your past caused them. So again, I thank everybody for joining us on tonight. This was really a great talk. If everybody want to just leave how someone can get in touch with you, because I've had panels before, and once we get off the panels, people have asked for someone's information for something that they said and that they wanted to the person to expound on. So if everybody could leave their or call out their information for the audience, that would be great. Go ahead, Elder, starting with you.
Oh, geez, it was good. This was really good. I enjoyed it. All the information, it was good. I love meeting new people, and because I always love to be in online with Bro Mo. Love it.
This is exactly why she say she wasn't gonna talk. It's hard.
It is. It really is. And I guess because I have so much to say. I've just been through so much. And somebody said to me, why do you have a testimony for everything that somebody said? Because I do. I just do. I don't know. It's God. But anyway, so listen to the, Oh, I thought I heard my husband say my name. That was the spirit of the Lord. He probably told me to be quiet. Heard him in the spirit, heard him in the atmosphere. No, but seriously, listen, those who are online, and to that young lady that's a young mother, listen, if you need to reach out to me, just, for conversation, to vent, you can inbox me. I give you my number, 865-214-7770. You can text me, you can call me on that number. Just let me know who you are. I'm a great listener. I love encouraging people. Of course, I love to communicate. So, or you just find me on Facebook. There, I do individual counseling. I love to empower women where they are and what they've gone through and what they've dealt with.
Sit down.
I do believe that God had taken me through so much just for this, to be able to let somebody know that you can make it through.
Yeah.
I was a single parent for the first 7 years of having children. And so I didn't have the parent or the grandparent to drop the kids off. I tell my kids all the time, I think I might have been crazy, had bipolar, went through PTSD, but didn't have time to be crazy. I was too much trying to take care of y'all. So now I'm thinking I'm finally to set in. My mind just be
heavy. EP, she can't do it, EP. It's impossible. She can't do it. If she tried to just give her information, she wouldn't be able to do it. She went all the way to a whole nother story. And we at the end of the show.
I'm done. Y'all can just call me. Get my information from Prophetess Marie.
Pastor Walsh, she can't do it. I bet Bishop back there laughing. Bishop, I know Bishop don't say it. She told you to give your information. You know when it's a whole other story.
Oh my God. Oh man. I'm sorry. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
You can email me. My email is paintopurpose07@gmail.com, or you can also message me on Messenger on Facebook, Nikisha Rollins. And also Paint to Purpose on Facebook as well as my book page.
You can get in contact with me through Prophetess Marie. She can tell you we can get deep if you want to seek wisdom wise, early wise, here to be seek. I got you. Just hit me up through her. All praises.
True, one TRUJEW, because true is true without the E. And like I say, I ain't got no warrants and nothing. I ain't running from nobody, you know what I'm saying? So it's Jesse, JESSIE. I know I don't look like a Jesse, but it's Jesse Truju Allen, ALLEN. You can hit me up. I like to be more personal, you know what I'm saying, as far as, exchanging numbers and whatnot, but I will not have people regularly spamming me, and I already get spammed every day. Mm-hmm.
David's father's name was Jesse.
So I'm gonna say the same thing. Hit me up through Prophetess Marie, Miss Peaches, and likewise we'll link up. We need to have more conversations. This the first. This the first convo. You say every Friday. Wow, that's what's up.
Go ahead, Kendra. Kendra.
Oh, she glitched.
Oh, she glitched. Go ahead, Pastor.
Oh no, she just blinked.
We'll let Pastor Walsh go ahead and give hers if she got some.
Sorry, I just had something go off. You can reach me
Okay,
through
well,
Prof.
I
Go ahead.
can be reached at Jandra Alexander on Facebook. My Instagram is Miss Gospel Funk. So you can inbox
I think it's a
me.
Yeah, you glitching bad.
Got me?
We got you. Miss Gospel Funk, MSGOSPAFUNK @gmail.com. And then she has Instagram, Miss Gospel Funk, and Jandra Alexander on Facebook.
And I'm going to also refer you to Prophetess Marie. On Facebook, it's Deborah Walsh. And my email is dk332243 @gmail if you want to email me. And then we can, connect further. It would be my honor and privilege to help anyone in need. Amen.
Amen. All right. Well, as with always, we keep it real, we keep it straight, and let me start over. Let me start over. As always, on Friday Straight Transparency, we keep it real, truthful, and transparent. Y'all join us next Friday as I come on and get down with the get down on just some things that's happening in today's life. But I want to address the issue next week. So y'all dare to join me. Y'all have fun with me. Y'all continue to pass this on and share this with somebody who might need this information. And as always, look out for my posts because I love running panels. Peace. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Peace and love, Greece.